everyone, welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. Today we're going to be doing an open tag response to John over at Thrifty Kniffy. We're going to be doing a Super Sack Saturday. Going to be doing this one with a bit of a twist. So we're going to do a comparison between two of my sort of favourite models and ones I use quite a lot. So the first one we have is the Victorinox Climber. That's that one at the back, 91mm. Model number for that is 1.3703. And then in the foreground, we have the Evo Grip 14, which is 2.3903.C. Basically, this one is a sort of Victorinox's take on the Wenger, which they started producing after they bought Wenger. And then this one is just a standard 91mm Swiss Army knife. So we'll go straight into it. We'll start with the Climber and we'll look at the similarities between two and the differences as well and just see what we feel like at the end. So here it is. This is the Climber. As I mentioned, 91mm as the red Celador scales on there. It is a 3-layered design. Did add the plus scales on the back, so please be aware these aren't sort of standard. I did add the plus scales to have the pen. We do have the standard opening layer, as you get on pretty much every Swiss Army knife at the moment. We have the scissors in there as well. One of my favourite tools to use on a Swiss Army knife. Really love the scissors. They do a great job. They've not changed them since they were sort of introduced with this sort of leaf spring as far as I'm aware. And I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They do a great job. They're really sharp. They're perfect for an office environment. Cutting off loose bits of string or tags out in public and you don't want to sort of offend anyone with a blade. It can get a little bit like that here in the UK, which is a bit of a shame. We also have a main blade on there too. See, we have the Victorinox Swiss-made stainless tang stamp and the usual sort of fit and finish and qualities you'd expect from Victorinox, really. Everything's tight, everything fits great, there's never any blade wobble. Fantastic edge grind. We have that polished sort of stone-washed blade or tumbled blade with a nice clean nail nick. And of course, this being a slip joint and under a 3-inch blade is UK legal. So we'll just take a look at that blade length now, just so you can see for yourselves. We do have 1 to 2.75 inches on the blade length full, and then a cutting edge of about 2.4 inches. So very UK legal. Both of these are currently available on Amazon in the UK. You could pick up a Climber for £28 roughly, and then the Evo Grip is a little bit more expensive. I believe it was about 40. They're both also available on the Victorinox website, this one being closer to 30 and this one being closer to 50. Not sure why it's more expensive on there, but that's just the prices I could find. Rest of the tools on the back then, we do have a nice little pen blade, one that gets used quite a lot. You can see I've still got a bit of tape gunk on there. I use this for unboxings and things. You can really sort of get your finger down the blade and not penetrate the box too difficult too far. And you know you're not going to damage anything on the inside. Nice action on everything. It's about a 5.5 pull. When you get to here, you get to about between a 6 and a 7. And then a nice strong lockup. And as long as you're up on that ricasso there, I would have no problems with this closing on me, because you know your fingers there stopping it close. Just a wonderful, wonderful knife, and I really do love the Climber. It's got a special place in my heart. It's one of the first knives my father bought me many years ago. Not this exact one. I have a Silvertech. That one's sort of been remained back to be a safe queen, as I don't want to lose it, which is why I bought this replacement one here, which I can use and abuse and not worry too much about it. So that's the Climber, one of my favourite 91mm. Let's take a look at the Evo Grip 14 now, and then we'll look at the differences afterwards. So really you can see this is a very sort of different style design with the scales. They have been sort of ergonomically done, and then they also added these rubberized parts, which makes it the Evolution grip. They do an Evolution, which is without the black, and it's just the red Celador all along. But you can see we have the Victorinox shield there, nicely sort of inlaid in this rubberized grip. Sort of more of a contoured shape to sort of fit your hand, and I will admit these are very comfortable. I love this knife. This is the one that sort of stays in my car for sort of day-to-day use, and it's just a fantastic bit of kit. So we'll take a look at the main sort of tools. So on the right hand side, again, similar sort of thing as the Climber. We have the bottom, the can opener with the small flathead screwdriver. On the left, we also have the flathead screwdriver and the cap lifter. And what you will notice about the Delamont Wenger range is that there's no half stop, but this is a locking tool, even though it doesn't lock like this. So when you apply pressure onto this, I don't know if I'll be able to show you. Let me get a pen and see if I can push it down to show you. So when you apply pressure to this, can you see it just about moving down? So when you apply pressure, it locks and you can't close it. Not the best way to show you, but believe me, it does work. You put a lot of pressure on there and it stops it closing. So when you're using it as a screwdriver, you haven't got to worry about it wobbling around, things like that. It works great for that. So that's something that Wenger did instead of the half stop like Victorinox did. We also have the scissors on there as well, and they're a little bit different to the Victorinox ones, and we'll take a look at a comparison, but it's probably quite easy to see off the start why they're different. So Victorinox, you have that wonderful leaf spring that I was talking about earlier, and then the Delamont range for Wenger has this sort of spring bar here. But you will notice when you use the scissors, they do angle up by themselves. That's probably one of the only downside to these scissors I'm not a big fan of, is when you use them, they sort of come up towards your finger. If I sort of hold this flat on the board, you'll see what I mean. They move up, look. But they are really sturdy, and it's less likely this is going to break than the leaf spring on the standard one. Scissors are serrated as well, which is something else that's different. And I will say, honestly, I don't like the serrated scissors. Like, I was using them to cut some thread off earlier on, and because of the serrations, it wasn't cutting as smoothly as the straight edge ones were. So, honestly, prefer the scissors on the standard Victorinox climber. Really nice action on that. That thing snaps down with authority. Let's listen to that. Main blade then. Obviously, this is an 85mm over 91, so you do get a slightly shorter blade. You can see we have Victorinox, Swiss made, and Delamont, because that's what they called this range, was the Delamont range. I do believe they're starting to discontinue these though, so if you want to pick them up, I would grab one quick. You'll notice a slightly different blade shape on this as well. You do have a lot more belly. Same sort of blade finish though, that sort of tumbled polished finish. Nice clean nail nick, no swedging, anything like that. We also have a blade length of 1 to just over 2.5, and then a cutting edge of 1 to 2.1, 2.2. And I will say, I really, really do like the blade shape of the Delamont. I think I prefer it to the original. I just like the belly on it. I just think it adds a little bit more different. And I always thought there was quite a nice belly on a Victorinox, standard Victorinox. When you look at it next to the Delamont, look at the belly you get on that. I just really love the blade shape on this. That's something they brought over from Wenger. And I hope, even though they do get rid of this sort of series, I know they are phasing them out, but I hope they keep that blade shape and maybe add it to another knife. As I would love to have a standard sort of 84mm, like a Sportsman with this blade, and I think that would be great. And then on the back of the EvoGrip 14, we do have the sort of nail cleaner and nail file, as opposed to the pen blade you get on the climber. Honestly, prefer to have the nail file as well over the little pen blades. I do use this a hell of a lot. I'm always breaking my nails, opening my slip joint, so it's great just to file the edge of your nail down, just get the sharp bits off and just wipe it off and then go again when you need to. Last little bit of differences really between them is on the backs of these knives. So you do have 3 different tools on the back of the climber. You have the punch, you have the parcel hook, and of course the corkscrew. But then on the Delamont version, you only get the 2. You only get the corkscrew, which I've added the screwdriver to, and the punch as well. You don't get the parcel hook on this one at all. And even though this is smaller, it's actually chunkier than the 3-layer standard one. You can see the little bit difference there. Not hugely, but it's enough to be noticeable. Down to literally the middle of the knife is identical. It's just the scales that are thicker due to the grip and the sort of the styling they've done to it. Out of the 2, honestly, I've got a real special place for the climber in my heart, so it'd be really hard to dethrone that. But if they were to put the blade shape of this on that, I think we'd be in for a real winner. I do love this blade shape. I just think it's really, really unique for a Swiss Army knife to have something like that over the standard sort of drop point blade they normally use. But there you go, guys. That's my Super Sack Saturday. I really hope you enjoyed the comparison between the 91mm climber and the 85mm EvoGrip 14. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.